Hey guys, Dominic Brown here, Dom Brown. I'm coming to you guys to give you guys my story on why and how I was Republican and conservative. So, of course, when I was 16, I was registered to vote at 17. So, my grandmother told me, and I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland, in Lanham, Seabrook, Maryland. So, my grandmother told me to make sure I registered to vote. Okay. So I asked her what party was she. She says, don't worry about what party I am. You need to do the research, write up an essay, and give it to me before you register to vote. So I was 16 at the time. Okay. So I did research, and back then we had Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay. So we didn't have Google, we didn't have any smartphones, and we didn't have the internet. Okay. So this was like in the late 80s. Yeah, no, early 90s, early 90s. So I looked up the Democratic Party, looked up the Republican Party, and I believe it was another party. I think it was either independent or libertarian or something like that. So I found out, doing my research at that time when I was 16 years old, that that the Republican Party abolished slavery. Um, they wanted less government, lower taxes, free market capitalism, strong national defense, and was into gun rights and pro-life. So with a very strong Christian background. Okay, so I thought about it, and I'm like, okay. So I wrote a little essay. I think it was maybe a whole page, to my grandmother on why I chose the party I chose, which was the Republican Party. So she told me I had to read it out loud to her. So she shook her head. She was like, "Okay, that's great." She says, "Now, once you turn 17 to register, do not change your party." She says you're going to have some good candidates, some bad candidates, but at the end of the day, stay strong to your beliefs. At the end of the day, and just vote on a person on what they show you, okay? And research their background, da 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 da. Okay, great. So we fast forward. In 2001, I ran for state delegate as the sole Republican in District 22, which was at that time, Prince George's County, Maryland was 85% Democrat. Okay, but we had our first Black American Lieutenant Governor, Michael Steele, and the governor was Robert Ehrlich. Okay, so I met those guys when I was running. Those guys were wonderful. They were great. Okay, very down to earth. Supported me in every endeavor that I did, which was wonderful, and I thank them for every single thing that they've done. I was part of the RNC, still am. Got a few awards under being under the RNC. If you don't know what that stands for, Republican National Committee. So, which is great. And of course I was in the Army. So, of course I got sent to, and I lost the race in 2002. Okay, it was 9 people running. I was one of the top 4. It was 3 seats. I was top 4. Okay, so fast forward, I went to Iraq in 2000. Went in training in 2002, 2003, and got deployed. During my deployment, the lieutenant governor and the governor of the state of Maryland, Robert Ehrlich and Michael Steele, sent me some letters to see how I was doing while I was in combat, which was wonderful. Okay, I thank them for that. I thank their staff for that, for keeping me in the forefront of their mind, as well as other people that was in combat with me. But I can only speak on my experience. So, of course, I moved here to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania in 2005 after one of my deployments, and stayed here ever since. And I must say, being part of the Republican Party, being conservative is wonderful. Why do I say that? Because first of all, I love the freedom that I have. I fought for the freedom that I have, and I'm pro-life. I believe in God, guns, and country. I believe in less government. I believe in being transparent, and I have a strong belief in my religion, in my Christianity. Okay, so and I definitely believe in free market and capitalism, because without that, we wouldn't have the things we have. If you think back, Mr. Ford, didn't Ford made the Ford vehicles, didn't use government funds to do it. It was capitalism, his ideas that did it. Okay, with everything we do in the United States of America, so those are beliefs that I love, that I cherish. Okay, so that's why I'm a conservative. I was born a conservative, and quiet as it kept, most people, no matter what race you are, were raised in a conservative household. But I'm thinking we've gotten away from that, and we're more on this party thing. Okay, so I urge you to think about why you're in the party you are, and what have the party done for you. I can truly say my party hasn't forgotten me. They know who I am. Regardless if I ran for office, they still know who I am. In whatever state I lived in, I love the values that the elected people had at the time. And during this time, my current congressman is John Joyce, doing a wonderful job. My current state senator is Senator Doug Marciano, doing a wonderful job. My representative is Rob Kaufman, doing a wonderful job. My current mayor is Walt Beach, doing a wonderful job. So all I got to say is, guys and girls out there, just be smart when you go to the voting precinct, the voting poll, and choose a candidate on their character, on their beliefs, and on what they can do for you. Okay, so I can tell you, in my experience, what I think Trump done for me so far. Okay, he's made sure that our national defense is a lot stronger. He's working on the lower the taxes, and he's given us benefits for combat veterans like myself, that we can go out of our network to get care. Because let me tell you something, the VA system is overcrowded. It's packed. It really is. And I have to get surgery, possibly surgery on my finger, because of a see how crooked it is, and see how straight that one is. So of course I go to Martinsburg, West Virginia VA, so they didn't have a hand specialist. So they sent me to Baltimore. Baltimore said it'd be about 90 days to 120 days. So they said, we have to send you outside the network. So they sent me to Hershey, which is a great place. Went up there, saw a doctor. The doctor referred me here in Chambersburg to a hand specialist in WellSpan, and it is wonderful. That took approximately 6 days instead of 120. Thank you to President Donald Trump. Okay, so when you look at the facts on I'm stuttering, I'm sorry. Look at the facts on what he's done so far. The employment rate is down. Our economy is booming. Our military is great. He's bringing my brothers and sisters, my fellow soldiers, home. And he's holding other countries accountable. You know what? How many presidents have we had that we go in these other countries and we spend millions and millions and billions of dollars and get nothing in return? So think about this, guys. Think about, I'm gonna make this real simple. If you go out, if you live in, you live in a rural area and you have to cut your grass. Say you cut your grass, neighbor. Your neighbor say, hey, I'm gonna be out of town for 3 weeks. Can you cut my grass? Are you gonna do it for free? Or are you gonna ask your neighbor, hey, can you give me some gas for my lawnmower because your lawn is about as big as mine, da 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 da. Think about it. So if you send your soldiers overseas to these countries and they're there for a year, 10 years, don't you think these countries should pay for the service provided? Think about it. Hold people accountable. Okay, so I'm a black American, which is and I'm conservative, and I'm Republican. And guess what? I love it. I'm still a person. And of course, you know, I go door knocking, and I ran for borough council here in Chambersburg. I go door knocking. I get some people say, you know, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a traitor to your race. And you know what I do? I just smile and say thank you. I say, well, do you at least go out to vote? Some of them say yes, and I say, okay, that's fine. Just go vote. For those who say no, I encourage them. There have been people that died in every race who has fought for that right for you to have the right to vote, or for that right not to vote. But think about it. You need to vote, register to vote. So that's my story. Like, subscribe, and make sure you register to vote, and do research on every single political party out there and choose wisely. At the end of the day, register to vote, choose your party. I would hope that you would choose the Republican Party no matter what race, color, creed you are, but at least do the research and find out what you believe in. So, as I always say, be mentally strong, physically strong, socially strong, and spiritually strong. Peace.